Hi, cat. Come and get some mango, baby.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you're not doing well, I'm happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. This video is about the new moon in Capricorn, and this is my second time recording this video. I was able to complete the first one, but my energy was so low. I felt it while I was speaking, but I didn't realize until I went back to edit it, and I'm like, I gotta do this video over. So here we go. So when it comes to the new moon and Capricorn energy, of course, there's 5 things that I would like to share with you when it comes to this energy overall. And the first thing is the numerology, as always. And when it comes to December 23rd, 2022, the energy adds up and reduced to the number 5 vibration. The day is the 23rd, and the day also carries a number 5 vibration. So the number 5 is amplified on this day. But let's first start with the 23rd. The number 2 is nurturing, it's emotional, it's sensitive. The number 3 is expressive, it's childlike, it's creative. It represents a beginning. So the number 5 is created with the emotional sense of the number 2 and the expressive energy of the number 3. So this could give me the feeling of sudden and unexpected changes that can spark from, say, a need for freedom, but also emotions. And when it comes to the number 5 vibration, it reminds me of the Tower card in the tarot deck. And it reminds me of that because the Tower energy reflects a sudden change. But of course, the Tower, like the number 5 energy, is not really sudden and unexpected. There's always signs leading up to the change, but we tend to overlook it. I appreciate sudden and unexpected changes because we tend to get so familiar and complacent when it comes to life on a whole, or anything that we've been doing for a while, and we find safety in familiarity and just things remaining consistent. And sometimes we could find ourselves frustrated and wanting something else, wanting a new experience, but we're terrified to go after that new experience because we fear failing. We fear what other people will think. And when the sudden and unexpected changes occur, we're forced to make the most of that, and we're forced to apply ourselves to that change and just survive. And that's when we realize, okay, I didn't know this was possible. I didn't know that was possible. Okay, I got this. When it comes to, say, the month of December, December carries a number 3 vibration. The number 1 is the individual. It's the I am. It's action-oriented energy. It's the masculine energy, which talks about action-oriented energy, which is also extroverted energy. And this is where energy is amplified by movement, taking action. And the number 2 energy is introverted. It's energy gained from going within. It's reflective energy. It's feminine energy. It's nurturing energy. So the 1 + 2 adds up and reduces to the number 3 vibration, which is the childlike creative expression, which is the new beginning, but the new beginning that came from an idea, which is the number 1, and putting that idea in motion, nurturing it, which is the number 2. So December brings that kind of motivation where you could find yourself wanting to start something, make something happen. But December add up to the year, which is 2022, comes together and creates a number 9 vibration. 2022 adds up to the number 6. The number 6 is family, community, responsibility. And the number 2 is amplified within that, which shows a very sensitive and nurturing aspect, even codependent to a certain extent. But December 2022 carries the number 9 vibration, and that deals with wrapping up, tying up loose ends, bringing something to an end so it can evolve to the next level. So a lot of us can find ourselves experiencing major shifts and transitions in our lives going into the new year. But of course, with, say, Mars in retrograde, and we'll be in retrograde until the second half of January, and then Mercury, which eventually goes direct. Mercury is not in retrograde yet, but it will be soon and goes direct the first or the second half of January, I think. But anyways, with all of that reflective energy, we can find ourselves being super reflective when it comes to, say, the number 9 energy, December 2023, adding up together, creating the number 9 energy, tying up loose ends, and then the day of the new moon having to do with the 5, the energies of the new moon adding up and reducing to the number 5. So this is sudden and unexpected changes that could create some kind of ending to propel you, to help you to prepare for a new beginning. And sometimes we might create vision boards or say we want things, write them down, and then forget about them. And then these changes start occurring that shake stuff up and get us ready for that new beginning. And we don't realize that's happening until we get that thing we've always wanted. And we look back and see why it made sense for everything to play out the way it did. And talking about new beginning, the new moon is at 1 degrees, and the number 1 is a brand new beginning. It's an idea. So when it comes to this new moon energy, you can find yourself having this grand idea, but of course an idea is just an idea until you start nurturing it and moving towards creating something tangible. The second thing that I want to talk to you about is the Capricorn new moon. A new moon is when the sun and the moon is at the exact degree. In Capricorn, the new moon talks about a new beginning when it comes to, say, your goals, your responsibility, your legacy, the way you want to be seen in the world, the way you want to be remembered, and the responsibilities that you want to take on. With so much happening, a lot of us can find ourselves looking for ways to downsize our responsibilities. A lot of us could find ourselves looking for ways to, say, work smarter and not harder, and also looking at how you might be willing to make certain sacrifices in order to have peace. So with this new moon energy, new beginnings, of course, but like I said, with the number 5 vibration, the sudden and unexpected changes that will create these new beginnings might catch you off guard, because we're so used to having things a certain way so we could feel safe and so we could feel comfortable. And when it comes to, say, thinking about the future and the unknown, that's terrifying because we don't know what will happen. And of course, fear is false evidence appearing real. Fear is when we don't believe in ourselves enough or believe in the universe in order to make things happen. The third thing that I want to talk to you about when it comes to this new moon energy is the challenges. So when it comes to the challenges, the new moon is squaring Jupiter conjunct Neptune. Jupiter is in Aries, Neptune is in Pisces. Jupiter is at 0 degrees in Aries, and Jupiter moving into Aries recently amplifies the I am energy. The I am energy is how we're seeing our will to take action, and also to us being motivated when it comes to, say, how our representation, our image, because Aries deals with a lot of that. And Aries is also a warrior energy. So again, it's that bravery within us to take action. So with Jupiter being squared by the new moon energy, this gives me the feeling of feeling a bit intimidated by, say, these new beginnings, by these ideas, by these responsibilities that you might want to take on, by the things that you might want to accomplish. With the new moon energy in Capricorn, I think of how Capricorn energy deals with authority. I think of how Capricorn energy is a traditional type of energy. Traditional in the sense that we celebrate things that have been marketed to us, that we have been conditioned to look up to. So if you have a dream, a goal, or an aspiration that isn't socially celebrated, that you weren't raised to look at something that is as something that is respectable, it's easy to feel like you won't make it happen, or other people won't support you, or other people might laugh or criticize you. And of course, as confident as we want to be, it's so easy for us to feel intimidated and worry about what others will think. But something about this new idea, this new beginning, that's sparking when it comes to the new moon energy might intimidate you. And this is where your dreams could feel bigger than you, and that's okay. And it's a matter of taking action and moving towards it consistently. And over time, you become comfortable, or you start to have courage within yourself, and you start to grow, and your dream is not that much bigger than you anymore because you start to grow into it. When it comes to another challenge is Saturn being squared by Uranus conjunct the North Node in Taurus. Saturn is in Aquarius. Saturn energy talks about restriction. It talks about authority. It talks about how humanity, which is the collective, and people who feels like they are left behind or overlooked or are not supported, unseen, feels restricted by the system with Saturn and Aquarius. But then Saturn energy is also an authoritative energy, and wherever Saturn is in your chart, even though this placement might feel like it brings you pain and a lot of sleepless night or struggles, to me, Saturn is showing us how to be our own authority in this area of our lives. So with the restrictions and the struggle that's happening in Aquarius, Saturn is showing humanity how to come together, stand up, and defend whatever it is that we believe in. And Saturn being squared, or Saturn squaring Uranus conjunct the North Node in Taurus, talks about how restrictions is getting in the way of innovation, freedom, and new beginning. But when I look at things like that, I think about how whenever we are restricted or challenged, we become resourceful and we always find a way. And that brings me to the fourth thing that I want to talk about, which is the opportunities associated with this new moon energy. And the opportunities associated with the new moon energy for me is, say, looking at the positive aspect, which is a trine happening between Venus conjunct Mercury and Mercury conjunct Pluto and Capricorn. And this is positively aspecting Uranus conjunct the North Node in Taurus. So Capricorn and Taurus are both earth energies, and Pluto conjunct Mercury and Venus brings me to how the mind is in a place of value but transformation, and focusing on how a person could have control over themselves and over their situation, over their responsibilities and their way to provide and take care of oneself. So I'm looking at, say, Uranus conjunct North Node in Taurus, and just the changes that's happening. The mind is in a place where it's being resourceful, it's being transformative, and it is finding a way out of what appears to be no way. I look at how Pluto conjunct Mercury and Venus in Capricorn is positively aspecting Jupiter conjunct Neptune in Pisces. So this gives me the feeling of, say, with Jupiter conjunct Neptune in Pisces, this is that whole dreamy, optimistic energy where we tap into our higher selves and come up with solutions in order to transform our situation. So when I look at Pluto conjunct Mercury and Venus in Capricorn, this brings me to that the mind is in a space of death, rebirth, transformation, and having authority and control over oneself, their responsibilities, their family, their destiny, their legacy. And a lot of those great ideas or inspiration and how to transform one's life or situation on a whole is coming from Neptune conjunct Jupiter. Neptune is in Pisces, Jupiter is in Aries. So Jupiter and Aries energy is giving that will, that courage when it comes to, say, you looking at your place in the world and what it is that you want to achieve, how you want to be more responsible for yourself, be responsible for your family, the ones who are important to you, and at the same time, be proud of yourself when it comes to your goals and who you're aspiring to. And the fifth thing that I want to talk to you about is how to make the most of this new moon energy. I look at how everything, all of the aspects, is pretty much being made on the lower part of the chart, which shows the importance of introspection. Even though the focus is on legacy and our place in the world and how other people will see us, a lot of the change or the shift, the challenges and motivation is happening within. So it just goes to show how important it is to transform our world from the inside out. And transform our world from the inside out by going within and finding your truth. What does it mean to you to aspire to this thing or the next? When it comes to your aspirations and your goals, are you being motivated by beliefs that belong to you or beliefs that were handed to you? Because if you find yourself motivated by beliefs that were handed to you, you could easily find yourself onto your 3rd, 4th, 5th degree, only to feel complacent, miserable, like something's missing, and just feel like you can't take it anymore, but you don't know what to do. And I find that whenever we say we don't know what to do, it's because we're afraid to do what it is that we know we should do. And when I think about Capricorn energy and even Taurus energy, which plays a big part when it comes to this energy, both of those energies are like staple, traditional, grounded, rooted energies. And it's hard to go against those energies because it's what we've grown up, it's what we've been seeing our whole life. When I think of Capricorn and Taurus energy, I think of relay race, and I think of how both energies reflects how we pass on traditions. I think of a relay race in the sense that you were handed the baton from your ancestors, whoever raised you, and that baton reflects your values, it reflects traditions. And your values are a roadmap. They are what's getting you to wherever it is that you're trying to go. So when you reflect on where you are right now and you reflect on your health, your relationships with others, your relationship with money, and just your perspective on a whole, that's a reflection of the values that you've been holding. So if you don't like what's happening in any area of your life, that's where you need to create new values. And more than anything, redefine success for yourself, because Capricorn energy is one that talks about success. And a lot of the times, like the baton, we take on the values of others and we're running, and in our mind, we feel like we're going one place. But when we end up where the values take us, it's like, why am I here? I'm unhappy. And that's because the system and the process that you've been using to get where it is that you're going isn't in alignment with who you are. So for me, I believe in taking the baton and looking at what works for me when it comes to my path and where I'm trying to go, and the experiences that I'm trying to have, and what doesn't work, I respectfully leave it behind. And that's no disrespect to those who handed it to me. Those things may have worked for them and who they are at their time during their experience, but this is a totally different experience and I'm a different person. So it's important for me to be true to myself and take what works for me and leave behind what doesn't. Because we are all in our own lane on our own path, even though our paths run parallel sometimes and intersect, and it might seem like we're running in the same lane and we're on the same path. We're in our own lane and on our own path. We all start at different times and have different experiences along the way. So one path should never be compared to another. One path can be inspiration or guidance to another, but should never be compared. So when it comes to making the most of this energy, it's all about, say, looking at the batons that you've collected when it comes to the people who've inspired you, the people who's raised you, the people you've looked up to, and realize that the baton is actually a scroll and you're supposed to open it up and add your values to it and make some corrections to what's been given to you if it doesn't work or isn't in alignment with who you are and what is important to you. So of course, like I mentioned, or I didn't mention, but I'm sure I've mentioned in another video, Mars is in a retrograde, so that does a lot to the whole energy vibe. I know for me, my energy has been up and down, and of course it's not just due to Mars alone, it's due to some other things, and some things are faults of my own. But when it comes to, say, energy and motivation, we are getting a clear view of where we have to go out of our way when it comes to the things that we commit and give our time and attention to. and things that come natural to us because it means something to us. So throughout this Mars retrograde phase, and Mars has been in retrograde since October 30th, and it'll remain in retrograde until the second half of January, I think. And soon Mercury will go in retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. I'm going to be sharing a video on that pretty soon, and go direct the second half of January also. Yeah, sometime around then. But the point that I'm making for bringing up Mars and Gemini is the whole reflective phase. So even though we're experiencing these new beginnings, I feel it's more of you have this idea or thought as far as your legacy, your goals, your aspiration, but a lot of reflection is going to happen between now and when you start to take action on it. And the reflection that's happening is actually great, because to me, it's giving us an opportunity to be honest and really check in with ourselves when it comes to this new vision that we have for ourselves, when it comes to, say, ambition, goals, and success, and how you want to be remembered, your legacy. So a lot of people could realize, okay, I want to go back to school for this, or I want to pursue that path or the next. Those are some exciting things to look forward to. I love new beginnings for myself. I love going after or looking forward to working towards new goals. It just gives me something to look forward to. So I love that feeling. But something that used to get in the way for me was me having fears that I wasn't aware of. So because I was unconscious of these fears, they were creating and affecting my reality, but I didn't understand or see how I played a part in it. And for me, procrastination helped me to see that. And Capricorn energy is big for procrastination. Procrastination, because imagine being like, think of public speaking. Most people are terrified at the thought of public speaking. So Capricorn energy is like being on that stage in front of millions and billions of people. Capricorn 10th house energy when it comes to legacies, goals, and aspiration. So because the thought of being in front of all these people and being judged or criticized or compared or not being enough, that could create some major procrastination, because we procrastinate for one or two reasons. One, because we're genuinely not interested in something. And this could be a person pursuing something because they want to make their parents or their guardians proud, but they're truly not interested. So they procrastinate and fail out of college. Or it could be a person believes they don't have what it takes. So they procrastinate because they're afraid to take action and fail. And for me, when I was aware that I was procrastinating because of fear, I was able to work on that fear. And for some people, maybe jumping to take action might not be the best thing right now. And maybe getting some, say, therapy or help to work on those fears that have been controlling your life and stopping you from going after the thing that you really want to go after, and instead pushing you to go the safe route. And then you find yourself feeling miserable and unfulfilled. Maybe you want to get to the root of those fears and get them out of the way and start pushing yourself past them, so you can have the experiences that you really want to have, so you can create the future that you really want to have. So when it comes to, say, this energy, big time introspective energy because of where it's taking place. And like I said, between now and the second half of January, it's reflection mode and less action. And even if you're taking action, you'll find yourself feeling like you're driving on 4 flat tires, because even though you're taking action, a lot of reflection is necessary. And sometimes it's hard for us to see ourselves. And that's where it might be beneficial to get someone else to help you to work certain things through, or come to the realization of things that you couldn't understand before, but have caused you to run in circles, avoiding what it is that you really need to go after. Because the mind is so powerful. And before me realizing how much of a trickster my own mind could be, I would find myself dizzy in circles like a puppy chasing its tail. Because if you fear something, even if you're unaware, unconscious of that fear, the mind is aware of that fear, and that fear is like death. So the mind is going to do everything to protect you from experiencing or having that encounter, to the point where you can find yourself being productive but really procrastinating. And being productive but really procrastinating is the person who want to pursue a certain path, but the path is unorthodox, it's untraditional. So this is where a person will say, I need to go get this certificate program. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to buy this course. I need to buy that course. They're doing things that are productive, but really they keep pushing themselves further and further away from getting started and keep setting a day to get started. So at the end of the day, the mind was able to protect you. It kept you from getting started, but then you convince yourself you're being productive. So those are some things that we are not always able to see, and sometimes you might need someone else to help you to see all of that. So this is my new moon video that I wanted to share with you. I'm so happy I was able to get it done the second time around. Like I said, I did it last week and my energy was so low, but I'm glad I was able to get it done today. If you'd like to check out the extended version of this video, that's going to be posted soon on Patreon, where I'm going to go into the sun, moon, and rising sign and get more detailed on how this energy might affect you personally. And I do that for other placements like Mercury retrograde coming up and how that'll affect you personally, or other new moon, full moon videos. But either way, if you would like to check out that content or support the channel by becoming a member on Patreon, the link is in the description box below. If you'd like to book a natal chart reading, that link is also in the description box below. If you're still here with me, I'd love to hear about it. Please let me know by dropping me a blue heart in the comment box below. I would love to hear from you. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.